LoftyInc Capital is an early stage VC firm that is Pan-African, founded exactly 7 years ago, but more founded over, based on the work we've been doing for the past decade, helping to pioneer the early stage tech ecosystem across Africa, starting with Nigeria in 2010, and then expanding beyond that now to not just the big four countries, but also across the continent, really, from Sudan to Zambia to Uganda and Rwanda. And at the heart of even the name LoftyInc, it's how do you turn lofty ideas into incorporations? Jobs, jobs, jobs. Because we believe for the young Africans, for the billions of people, you need to create high impact jobs that create wealth, shared prosperity, and advance the economies of these African countries. And we believe venture capital is a tool, is a vehicle to do that. And that's what we do at LoftyInc. It's what drives us in our selection of founders to back. It's what drives us in our selection of sectors to invest in and in the successes we have recorded. We started in Nigeria and then moved to Egypt, then Kenya and South Africa. And the idea was to pioneer, right? Nigeria was 2010, 2012, Egypt was 2017, and we moved on. And so what we're now doing is actually finding Francophone Africa very attractive, right? It's close, when you look at the countries where we are already, you have French-speaking countries that are close to Nigeria, you have French-speaking countries in North Africa that are close to Egypt, right? Again, and it's a block by itself, tied together by currency, by common regulation, and several other factors, and are some amazing people. And so we're finding that very interesting right now. We've set up our office this year in Abidjan, right, to cover the sector. So it's to cover the region. We look at sectors. So again, we're tech-enabled VC supporting firm, and what we are looking now is there was a first wave of fintech, financial technology. Next wave we're looking at is how do you apply fintech to the basic everyday needs, right? Not just fintech for payments. And I'll give an example. In the UK, you have what you call the Oyster card. In Nigeria now, one of our startups has built what you call the Cowrie card, right, and Touch and Pay, and which is now enabling 3 million unbanked Lagosians every single day to take that card and board government buses, board rail, board water boats with it. And then when you have this 3 million people using those cards, you then extend the use. Now you extend it for them to be able to use it in the pharmacies, to be able to use it in the markets to buy things, right? And so again, you're including more people than ordinarily you would include. Because you're then digitally transferring money to board mass transit in a place like Lagos, suddenly drivers are becoming banked. And because drivers are becoming banked, they can have access to other things like health insurance for themselves and their families. They can have access to vehicular insurance for their vehicles. They can have access to credit to purchase new buses because there's now transparency into their income. Those very, very impactful companies are the kind of companies we're backing in the sectors we're looking at. To folks who are looking to invest in African space and getting concerned about, the downturn, the cycles, I tell them, get a backbone. Get a backbone because, again, there are problems to be solved. There's money to be made, right? Because people still have to pay to eat. They have to pay for healthcare. They have to do all those things. So there's money to be made at the right, appropriate level, right? Again, so I tell them, get in. Because the other thing is this, it's about cycles, right? This is probably the best time to invest. In about 5 to 7 years, when the cycle goes up and everybody gets so, frenzied and agitated, that's time to sell, right? Again, because again, that's the problem. People run away from investing right now, and then when the cycle goes up, everybody rushes in, and then the price valuations get crazy. And we tell them, let us be very deliberate about building and build for the long term. And if you do that and find good founders, build for the long term, you will get results. And we say this as people who have been here for 12, 13 years. We've seen these cycles, but yet we have consistently returned capital back to our investors because we choose great African founders to back who are solving problems that impact people and that people are willing to pay for. And we're patient. And if you do that consistently, you get the returns. In Africa, we have a lot of work to do. We have companies to build. We have people to feed, right? We have existential issues. And we cannot allow the fear of a recession and things like that to stop us from continuing to invest. Because again, we're always out of recessions here anyway. So again, the thing is we have to continue to build, and that's our LoftyInc is, again, we have to continue to find investable deals. Now the difference is those deals may not be nice to have stuff. We now focus on must haves, right? Things that drive energy efficiency, right? You've seen the struggle across the continent, from Nigeria to South Africa, around energy issues, right? How do you build companies that actually solve those problems? Because those impact manufacturing, they impact jobs, they impact mobility, right? So finding companies that are solving those problems is key for us, and we are going to back them, because the problems we have on the continent do not understand the recessions. People still need to eat, they need to take care of their health, they need to go to school.